It's good to see you guys. Excited for this week. Bye was good. You guys are rested, ready. It's a good morning this morning. Take any questions you guys got.
Dave, are you concerned at all about the reports of the last few days being a distraction for the team with Mac?
No, that's an HR deal. That's above my pay grade. Team's in a good spot. Energy-wise was really good. And focus-wise was good. Got big tests ahead of us. It's going to take our best to put up a challenge and get a win. I think they all recognize that, so we're excited for that.
How's your relationship with Mac right now?
Yeah, Mac and I have always had a good relationship. We've always been open and always talked. Has always had free access to say what needs to be said. I've always appreciated that.
Should the AD be that much involved in anything prior to a game or after a game?
Yeah, I just think all of those questions. I understand the interest in them. Our focus is just trying to get ready to play a game. This is just a huge game for us. This is a game we need to win. We're in an instance where, similar to last year, we have to win all the rest of these games, and the focus needs to be on 1-0 today and 1-0 tomorrow and 1-0 the next day and stack those up so that we can get a 1-0 on Saturday night, And so very much for me the focus is that. And, I think all of these things as they play out will play out however they play out. But, we have to win this game and we have to play our best. This is a team that's embarrassed a fair amount of teams, and we're not looking to be that next team.
Dave, when you finally put together a complete game, I know you may have needed the break, but would you have rather just kept playing after that game?
Probably so. Yeah, probably so. I think though the energy was good today, and we talked about this too last week in the practices that we had, how important it is, to start fast and to do the things that we've been really working hard to do and have failed to do up until this last one. And so I think everyone's on the same page of what the prescription is and what has to happen here these last couple games.
Do you have a conversation with the team about trying to block out that noise?
Every week. Every week. Yeah, every week we do. And it's no different now.
Are there any different feelings coming out of this bye week as compared to the last one when you didn't play very well against TCU in that first game?
I think there's a great sense of urgency. There's a sense of urgency.
How about Sawyer? It looked like the last game he, got some good first downs with his legs.
Yeah.
We've talked about that. How much do you guys want that, or encourage that, or?
We do. Yeah, I think anytime that there can be five guys out in the route, and whether it's a horizontal stretch or a vertical one, the pass rush lanes are tested when the quarterback can scramble, and we were able to, the 5 or 4 yards that he gets can make it an easier third or fourth down, and that showed up in this last game. And the team we're about to play plays a ton of man coverage, and so generally guys are going to be close together and stuck on one another, and the ability to get separation is always a challenge. And so to elongate a thing and to kind of create more time, the scrambling to throw or the scrambling to run if guys' backs are turned is always a thing.
Coach, what is the Utah's man coverage? Like, there's heavy playing of man coverage. What does that do for underneath for Trig and for your crossing routes that you have your underneath there?
Yeah, they're for as long as I've known, whether it was back when I was with Coach Anderson, Gary Anderson at Utah State, and we played Utah. It was 2012, I want to say, or I think it was 2012. And longer even before that. And so Gary used to be the DC at Utah, and so just man coverage. Our very first day install was under one, and all those Wisconsin LSU days, I was saying under one was our first day install. And so just when you live that way, it's like, hey man, I don't care who knows, I don't care what comes out. We're going to match it up, and we're going to lock guys up. And so when you're playing a team like that, it takes matchups, it takes attention to detail on splits, right? It takes timing, it takes a scrambling quarterback. There's a fair amount of things that are called to attention to be able to move the chains. And so it's a tough matchup. Not a lot of teams in our league just play man. Utah is one of them.
Looking back at some of the UCF film, it seemed like you had more four-man fronts. Is that something that could stick for the rest of the season? Or was that just for that game?
Yeah, we're able to affect some of the run game with just the leverages on the perimeter, whether it be by our techniques over there or our stunts. And, you try to be able to do what best matches the opponent. And so I think every week's kind of been a different setup based upon what's needed. What's interesting with Utah is there's a lot of 3- and 4-man surfaces. They'll play with 2 tight ends and even more tight ends than that, 3 tight ends at a time. And their surfaces are really big people. And they also will crack and load. So they'll crack on the outside and load up on your corner. So like they're biggest people on our littlest people. So all that presents a challenge, which is going to be different than what it was with UCF. And so we're still finalizing those things right now.
Is this the best running team y'all would have faced?
It's the
just
most
in terms of
unique.
numbers, I guess?
I think so. Yeah. Numbers-wise, yes. It's the most unique for sure. I think they present challenges in surfaces and in angles. And then, every Utah team that I've ever known has just been really physical. So this is hitting all 3 of those marks.
Did they just rotate those backs in, or how did
They
they use
do.
the backs?
They do, yeah. Yeah. A lot of quarterback run, though, too. And so I think a lot of it is set up for the quarterback to run. And so our name for it is bash, but there'll be a running back run this way, and then there'll be a quarterback run this way. And so you got to be really disciplined on, are you on the East Coast or are you living on the West Coast, and don't get them mixed up.
You're underdogs this week. You might be all 3 games to end the season. Do you
Yeah.
like that? Does the team embrace kind of that underdog mentality?
I try to let them know, and I think this is a game that we need. This is a game that we have to play well in. This is a game that we've got guys that want to play at the next level and want to do all the things. They need this game, and we as a program need this game. So it's an important one.
Coach, where are y'all health-wise, especially as it pertains to Bryson Washington? And has there ever been any discussion of maybe keeping him out a little bit longer, considering how banged up he tends to get during these games over the last few weeks?
We've talked about it. Bryson is rolling with the ones, looking good. It's always the bye has kind of interrupted these. It gives you kind of the anticipation that, hey, we're going to, take off running from this spot on. And I think that's probably the feeling right now with just how he looked this morning and even how he looked at the end of the week last week. It's certainly given us more time with some of the younger running backs to continue to hone in on them and, the blitzes and everything that's going to be coming their way Saturday night. But, yeah, he's looking really good right now. It's the best he's looked.
How good have the 2 freshman running backs been with, Dawson out, Bryson banged up? How good have those 2 been, I guess?
They've been receptive. They've been, there's very few things where you have to tell them more than once, and that's a huge deal. I think protection-wise, they've been really good. There's always kind of hey, get more grounded here or take a little bit more off there, but for the most part, more often than not, for sure, they're where they need to be. And that's the hardest thing about all of it as a freshman running back is the protection and the blitzes and the IDs and all that. So they've done a great job there. I give a lot of credit to the coaches for that. I think their ability to, finish runs, be patient with runs, I think it's one of the things B-Wash and Dawson too both have is the old man sense of, hey man, just chill and be patient. Let this block right out to the very last second, and then it pops. I think both of our young guys are still working through that. I think they're bouncing it out prior to when they really need to. So that was a big emphasis here this past week.
How's Drake doing?
He's good, yeah. I mean, he has a smile on his face. You know, this is going to be a big game for him. All the man coverage, you know, off the field doing good. So proud of his development.
He was added to the Bolitnikoff Award,
Yeah.
I guess, this morning, up for the Mackey Award. Do you remember a tight end in your career maybe better than him?
Yeah, he's a matchup problem. I remember at LSU we played Florida and we won the game. They put too many points on us. 2019 year. I forget the name of the tight end they had. It was a matchup problem. And Trig would be similar, but I think Trig's whereas the guy that year particularly he was kind of moved out. He was the X. Trig can be that. He can be inside. He can block. He can do all the things that a normal Y would do, but for sure he really excel as a U. So he can do all of that. So the whole collective thing, he's the only one.
Was it Kyle Pitts? Is that
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
Yeah. He was similar to Trig in this matchup. Like, who do you cover? Or who do you put out there? Yeah.
Michael Allen, you said he's given a couple of talks
Yeah.
over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
How has he developed into a coach? And have you had a player like him before that has kind of embraced that as much as him?
No. Yeah, we're blessed to have Mike, man. We are. I am. I think Mike's got such a good feel for the team. I think Mike's heart is solid gold, and so he's able to break tough news to me in a way that I appreciate. And so I think he tells the truth, and he loves his team, and so he puts it all out there for this team. He's played through injury and hardships and just all the things. He's going to have some good stories when he's coaching about his playing days and what he's been able to persevere. And so, big fan of him, man.
So you think he has a future?
Oh
in
yeah,
coaching?
very strong. Yes, yeah, he's going to be a great one.
When he's breaking the tough news, does he do it softly?
No.
What's his style?
No, he just says it. And like, oh, I'm glad to hear it, but it's like, oh, yeah. So too much of that going on.
Dave, I'm guessing he was involved in it, but you guys having 10 guys baptized, what was
Yes.
that like for you?
He's such a leader in that. I think that him and Sawyer, Matthew Kloppenstein's in there. That thing is just taken off, and it's one of the things I'm most proud of. Is just the there's guys there's guys that have not been a part of that have now been a part of it here in these last couple of weeks, and a few of them got baptized, and so it's an emotional thing when that's going on, and to see the guys and just how close they are, that's just way cool.
This last stretch of 3 games.
Yeah.
How important is it for? Obviously, you want to win, but just for you and this team to kind of finish things this season the right way.
I think
how
it's really
is
important.
this?
Yeah, really important. I think, we have choices to make, and how we show up for a practice, how we show up for meetings, how we show up to whatever negativity or just any of that. And so it's like the biggest, the spot that we're in right now is, man, don't succumb to feelings, right? Make a choice. I'm gonna show up this way, right? I'm gonna fight it this way, right? I'm gonna be this, and so that's a day-to-day thing. That's hard to do, because you can just get caught up in it, noise or just whatever it is. And so that's a huge deal. I mean, our players would take that with them when they go from here. And so it's just way important.
Coach, in this day and age when maybe it feels like it's all or nothing in college football, what value would you prescribe to making a bowl game and getting your kids to that extra week and playing in that game?
I think it's pretty important. I think it's something that we need to be doing here, and beyond. I think it's important to do. I think we've got the team to do it. These last 3 games are really good teams, and they're playing really good football right now. You'd argue they're probably playing the best football this year that they've been playing, whether it's earlier in the year. And so it's a big challenge for us, but I'd bet on these guys and this team.
Dave, was there any secret sauce, or what clicked with the run defense?
I don't know. After you draw stuff and walk through stuff and talk through stuff and do it however many times, I think the understanding or the hope is that it's finally going to sink in at some point. And it was good to see it. Guys were playing fast, I thought, and guys were playing kind of free, and we're going to need that in this one. I think what we saw with the UCF is very challenging on angles and +1 run game, and it's kind of a prelude to what's coming here with Utah. And so I think they're very creative. There's not a lot of teams that have their run game, and they might be one of one, and so teams have struggled with it. We've been given an extra week to kind of get ready for it, and so that needs to pay dividends here.
You mentioned in the past about reducing your kind of like base play calls down to where you said there were 5 and now there are 3.
Right.
Are you prepared to add or subtract even further from that if they counter with something different?
Yeah, I would compare the run game that we're playing similar to like a wing T offense in a way that, there's angles, there's wings and things that they present. And so if, depending on, do you adjust by front or stunt, or do you adjust by coverage, like roll coverage down? They got extra people over here, an extra surface over here. Is it the front that adjusts? Is it the coverage that adjusts? Once you make that adjustment, the answers are already built in, and they're coming back with the other thing. And so you have to have a fastball, and you have to have a curveball, and the motion and the release need to look the same. So I think it's very much that. I think anything beyond that, then you start to get in your own way, because they're very efficient in what they do. It happens very fast.
Dave, how would you describe Kyle Whittingham and how conversations, I know you played him, obviously, your thoughts about him?
We sat next to each other at one of the Big 12 spring meetings, and he had a picture on his phone of, gosh, if he hears this, I want to try to get this right. I think it was a Led Zeppelin album cover. So we were talking about that, and he's talking about all the concerts he's been to, and his favorite guitarist, and how he likes to ride his motorcycle. And these are all things that are not with me necessarily. So I was learning about him, and his likes and stuff. And so I just a way cool dude. I could just see how people would love to play for him. He's just so relatable, and he was. I think they wanted to start the meeting, but we were talking about like the 4th album and just all the certain tracks he likes and all the things. And so it's always that way with him, though. Anytime that you see him and Kalani together, they're so close. And Kalani Satake and just their relationship. And so whether it's Kalani or it's Gary Anderson, there's a tree that he's got that's a really cool one that's just got really quality, good people. So it says a lot about him.
What would the pictures on your phone be?
not hard rock albums, yeah.
LA Dodgers.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, Dave.